All right, so how do you create and distribute a mass email using the Ubix e-announcement system? I put together just a simple worksheet for everyone with some suggestion topics of when to use it. So I'll send this worksheet out to you. If you want to take notes, great. Don't worry about writing down things that are on here because you'll have a copy of this later on today. When you want to use this, anytime you want to send a mass email, and there's two different ways to use it. One is company-wide, so you want something to go to your entire database of people that would affect everyone within the company. Or two would be if it's an individual salesperson and or you want to segment your database. And as you all know, the tagging system is in there now, and so the more information you put in the tagging system, the more that you are able to segment your database. So you can get really, really rifle specific on sending out these e-announcements. So we'll start with just company-wide right now. These are just suggestions just to sort of give you ideas. I would suggest that you should be doing an e-announcement at least once per month, company-wide. That's at a minimum. Twice per month is certainly probably better, but at least once per month. So a new employee hire. Jeremy, you're in the process of hiring now a new interior designer. That would be a great opportunity to use an e-announcement because it directly impacts your future business and also with your trades and realtors and that sort of thing. New locations that you're coming on, or perhaps new services offered as it goes to remodeling, or perhaps a new product. Maybe you've got one of your suppliers that comes to you and says, hey, we got this great new product, and you're going to end up putting it into a model home, or you've got a client that's going to use it that's going to be featured at an open house. That's a great reason to use it. General housing news. Interest rates continue. I just saw another article today that I can't believe it. They're going lower yet. It's just crazy. But if you have good permit data in your area, or perhaps you've seen housing prices stabilize or go up in your area, all good reasons to send out an e-announcement. Any events that fall outside of an event campaign manager. So for all the premium clients, you have the event campaign manager, but sometimes you have events that don't fit in. Yvonne, as you know, it's the your educational walkthrough, during construction. So that's when you would use this particular system. And then to promote your rewards program, for referrals. So you could send it out to your past clients, owners. You could send it out to your realtor database if you're going to have some sort of a enhanced commission structure for multiple sales. All great reasons to use it. And if you, of course, just want to blast realtors about maybe if you have inventory homes that you're trying to move, or to-be-builts you want to promote to realtors. That's a great thing about realtors is they always think to-be-builts are up and they want to show them right away, and so you might create a call. So that would be company-wide. Now, specific messages to your database. An owner appreciation event. I always recommend doing 2 per year. I know some of you do it, some of you don't. A barbecue in the summertime and a holiday event, coming up in December here, just to say thank you. I know, Yvonne, you mentioned that you and Ted are going to be delivering poinsettias to all of your past clients over the year or two, 3. Great opportunity to send an e-announcement out to them, say, hey, we're coming to your door, such and such a time, bringing you a little holiday cheer. Trade partner notifications. You should all put your trade partners in the database too, because we have the business sphere of influence. And you could send out notifications to them for any internal process changes, something to do with your construction process or design selections, that sort of thing. If, say, you have a new plan, let's just say you develop a new 2-story plan, and you want to send it just to your prospects that are interested in 2 stories. So you can, again, use the functionality to create a list just of those people in 2 stories and then email them a link to access that plan. Maybe a new phase in a neighborhood. This is what a salesperson could be doing. Realtor outreach. As a salesperson, we should all have a top 10 list. Who are the 10 realtors in our specific location most likely to sell one of my homes? It could be independent designers if you're in remodeling. The people that you want to work with that potentially could bring you business, or architects. Events that would appeal to specific tags. Example here would be, let's say you're going to do an open house on a bathroom. I had a client that just did that. They had 3 bathrooms. They did an open house on for remodeling. It was one of their best attended events yet. They had 25 groups come through, and that was even without a radius mailer. If you want to remodel your bathroom, it's really hard to see. So, I mean, these are some of the really specific events that would work well for this. Location-specific events, obviously, let's say there's a sales update or a home site inventory. If you're getting down to where you only have a few home sites available, you're trying to close out a neighborhood, or you've made some sales in a particular area, hey, share it. School district boundary changes. So those are just examples. The process is really pretty simple. So I'll run through this, and I'm going to switch over to Adriana, and she will walk you through it using the system. So number one, we're going to define the list. So we'll define a list using the maintain list in your system, and then we're going to save that list within your database. Then we'll go in and we'll create the e-announcement. This is the same way you create a one-on-one email. The thing that I would change on the subject line is adding your company acronym in the subject line. So I did an example here for Nielsen Homes. So NH, first name, interested in coming. And what we're going to do is we are going to use the mail merge function for first name, because obviously this is going out to multiple people. So Adriana can, again, show you how to do that when we're setting it up. I would recommend, as best practices, try to use at least one photo in the body, photo or image, and wrap the text around that photo. And then remember, we always have a singular call to action. Please, 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 if you all write one thing down, do not use e-announcements to send out newsletters. Newsletters do not work anymore. They don't get opened, they don't get read, there's too much information. So we're going to keep this short and sweet and make it a singular call to action. So if there's an article about housing that's positive in your local area, all you have to do is create a link for that article in your e-announcement and say, hey, here's a great article on, on Kentucky or Lexington, Kentucky housing market. Housing prices are going up. Yay! Click here to read it. So Star, that was yay was for you, by the way. So we want, and then once you complete a template and use it once, you can save it for future emails. So in other words, this subject line, this part you can reuse over and over again, and then all you have to do is just come up with a new subject line. Again, Adriana will show you how to do that. Now, very, very important, something that you're not doing right now with your one-on-one emails is you do need to create a simple text version. And this is as simple as copying and pasting. But the link, you have to put the link in again for a simple text version, and Adriana will show you how to do that. And then also make sure you send yourself a test email first. Now, what I do is I send it to my Outlook, and I also send it to my Gmail account, because I want to see, sometimes it will look different in Outlook than it does in Gmail, and vice versa. So make sure you send it to both and that the layout looks right. Click on the link, make sure it's working correctly. Very, very important you do that before you send it to your list. And then once you've tested that, you're just simply going to attach your email list. You will schedule the delivery date and time. And this note that this is on a 24-hour clock, delivery date and time. When is a good time, date and time to send e-announcements? I recommend, if it's a weekend event, that you would schedule them for like Friday or Saturday. If you're trying to promote an event on the weekend. If it's just a general, top of mind awareness type campaign, I would send it out Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday at about 5 or 6 in the morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday about 5 or 6 in the morning. And depending on how many emails we have going out to the system, there can be up to an hour delay. So keep that in mind when you're sending these. If you're the only one going out, it'll go out exactly the time you mentioned. If there's multiple programs going out, it could be up to an hour delay. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for general announcements, Friday, Saturday for weekend events. And then you're just going to send your email, and then there's an email queue where you can actually go in and you can see your email, and make sure that it's ready to be sent. So that is the 8 steps. I'm going to go back and turn it over to Adriana. You guys will get this particular sheet here later today. And is there any questions here before Adriana actually goes through the training? Not everyone at once. Okay, well, hearing none, Adriana, you are up.
Yeah, hi again to all. So first of all, when you log into Ubix, I'm going to use NIH as a reference. So let me start with creating a list. So as I go to maintain customers here, and if you click on the more options, this is actually the area where you can select and make a selection, on the people that you are interested in. So we have the tags. You can use the tags, but bear in mind that all the people in the database need to have a tag assigned in order to do that and to have to be relevant. Otherwise, you can just use the stages. Let's say that I want to select and to create a list based on all the prospects I have in the database. So I basically select this checkbox and then hit search. This will actually retrieve. Okay, so first of all, I need to remove the date.
I was just going to mention to clear out the date.
Yeah, I need to clear out the date because Ubix will retrieve only the contacts, the people entered the last 30 days. So now what I want to do is to get all the prospects in the database. And I'll just show you how you do it. So now I selected the prospect and hit search and waiting for Ubix to pull out this information. Okay, so now I'm looking at all the prospects I have in the database. The next step is to save this as a list. So as I click on this one, I need to give a name and a description, something simple for you to identify it quickly. So let's say that in this case I will select the prospects. I also include the description and hit save. And now you'll have access to this newly created list if you go back to maintain customers.
And one suggestion I would make is putting a date on that name. So in case you're saving multiple lists, you remember what's the most current.
That's right. For instance, now if I go to maintain customers again and I select in the list drop-down menu, the last that I created is on the top. So. And probably most of them have a date assigned, so this is one way to do it. Okay, do you have any questions on how to create lists?
So Adriana, one other note, if I could even besides the tagging system and for prospects, I could segment the list even more if I wanted to say just send to A prospects or B prospects by using the ABCD, the types, right?
Yeah, so if you click on, let's say that I click on either I want to get all A and B customers or all C and Ds, I can do this from here as well. And the same applies for Ready, Willing, and Able. So I wanted to check and to create a list based on this criteria. Okay, so this is actually the operation. Then to go to the e-announcement, you will access communication, then click on campaigns, and there we have the announcements. I'll just open the screen again. Then what you'll need to do is to go and create a new announcement, and this is actually a new screen where you need to put your own name and description. So for this test, I will just use something that I created before. So let's say that I create this owner's meeting. Bear in mind that both name and description need to be unique. So every time you create a new e-announcement, you probably want to use the date as well. So let's say 15/2012. And then you don't need to pay attention to this event template. Please select. You just ignore it for this time. And then you get to the source information. Here you will put the information on how you would like, the people that you will send this e-announcement to see it. For instance, in here you will select the name. I will use Jeremy Skockwith's name, and then in the email, the same. You will select the email. The priority will be set by default to 5, and then on the subject line, taking into consideration what Rick pointed out, you will need to create something that will usually include the company name And then we have the first name. This is a substitution tag that I will talk about in while creating the announcement. And then a suggestive, descriptive or appealing subject line like I included here. Then we get to the message HTML version. So here I have several considerations. First is that you might create a simple e-announcement, a simple text, and input, draft it, compose the message itself. But the best is to use the email layout, the one that already contains your email signature, the masthead, the branding information, and you actually repeat the same steps as you do while sending out a direct communication. That is, you will go to the first button, the layout, and from this list, you need to have available several templates. We call them layouts with specific, let's say, branding information for a particular salesperson. In this case, I will select Jeremy, and then I want to extend the view because I want to have a better control, and I do this by maximizing the editor size. So this is already created in Ubix. All you need to do is basically remove the text, this copy, because you will put something more personal. Then you will leave the hi first name, so this is actually a substitution tag. What is a substitution is that by the time you will send out an email communication, an e-announcement, all the customers will, actually Ubix will replace all the customers' information, the full name, the email address, the phone number, depending on what you want to include in this message. You can also include a substitution tag if you'd like. So you do this by opening this insert substitution highlighted in yellow. So this is the third button on the main toolbar. And in here you have a series of substitutions related to both the customers in the database as well as for the sales manager and salesperson. So all you need to do is to identify, which substitution goes to what details. But I think this is just detail, and I wanted to point this out because usually we create this email templates with all the details you need. Okay, and this is actually the section, the area where you draft your message. I will include something. Thank you for visiting. Okay, our company. And you can figure out what you want to include there. I'm going to use a link as well. So remember, I do this by highlighting the sentence, the part of the text I'm interested in, and then click on the links library. This is the fourth icon on the main toolbar. But before I do that, I think it's important that you know how to create and to add new links into Ubix. And you do this by opening this Create Link tab. In the description, you will actually give a name to this link, and in the link area, you will actually put the URL, the link itself. For example, let's say that you want to add a link for the homepage, and here you will include, I think that's already in the database, however. So what you'll need to do is just to save and close it.
And you can also copy and paste. You can just open up another tab, copy and paste the link into there as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's better to do that. Okay, so when it comes to adding a new link to your email, like I said, you highlight or select this sentence, and then in this links library, you will select the link that you want to include. So for this exercise, let me go and look for this NIH. Okay, let's just pick something, and you do this by clicking on this pointing arrow highlighted in blue. It's important that you do that and not open this link from here, because this will actually open the page that you want to include. So now I'll just click on this Franklin design for exercise, and that's it for the links, including links.
One thing for, if I can interrupt Adriana, but one thing for best practices, I like to bold links. So once I put them in there, in my email copy, I want them to stand out. So I would go back and I'd highlight that again, and then I would bold it so it really stands out from, very easy to find and click on.
Okay. Like this one? like that.
Exactly. And
Okay.
Adriana, are you going to insert a photo for us as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Then we have the fifth button where it says select images. I'll open this gallery, pictures gallery. This is actually the place where you can import all the pictures, the images that you'd like to include in your communications. For example, we already have some pictures here, and you do that by choosing a file. Then you will locate the picture on your computer. And for instance, let's just pick something. I will take this picture and oops, I think and open it. You need to give a name before you actually upload this picture. So I'll just put a test here and then click on upload. So now there I've included this picture. This is available to use. And you will need to scroll down to this pictures library to identify the page that you want to include in the communication. So for instance, if I want to include this picture here, I just point my cursor here and then open this library and I selected randomly a picture like this one.
Adriana, can you show us too how to adjust that picture so the text gets wrapped around it? Or let's say if we want to move it to the middle or to the right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I didn't use recently that functionality, but basically you will select the picture, then click right click. You'll go to image properties. And one thing here is that I've noticed that most of these pictures are pretty large and you will need to adjust the width and height. And then we have the alignment. So Darius probably can assist if there's something I'm not doing right, because this is actually the alignment section where I adjust it. So for example, if I want to move it to the left, I'll select left and then click OK. So I think this is one possibility to wrap the picture and to align it.
Yeah, try going to the right too.
Okay, and I'll do the same. So right click and then select align right. And yeah, now I've included.
And now you can wrap the text around the picture.
Yeah, I need to have more text to see that working. And another thing is that you can also add a link to a picture. So you do the same. You highlight the picture, go back to the links library, and then select, for example, let's say this will be Cheyenne. No, so I think I didn't do something right. Okay, so I'll just probably leave it like this, and I'll just take this. Okay, so for some reason it doesn't want to take me, so I'll just keep it simple. I tested it and it worked, but now probably I have another links opened in on my browser. Okay, so now the next thing is you will go and you would like to have a preview before sending this out. One way to do it is to go to the content preview. So I'll click on this button, and there I can test the links of this announcement. So I'll open this one, and you might also want to check the link in the signature, and then you have the links to different social media like Facebook, Flickr. And when you decided that this is working correctly, so now I think I opened, I included a link to an attachment to a PDF file. This is loading, so these are actually the links that I included in this communication. Okay, so this is what I actually included in my email. Now let's go back and I will close this preview mode. To send this out, you will need to minimize the screen. So you do the same. You click on the maximize the editor size.
Adriana, can you show quickly how to set up the text? Yeah, the text version right below there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you need to do is, first of all, you will just copy all the text that you have in this HTML. Then you scroll down the page and you will remove the default text that was already added. And basically now I've included the text, but one more is also add a link to this text version. So as you can see right now, we have the links and the substitutions where you can select from. And now I want to add, so if I click on this link, I identify, I don't know what was the link I initially added, but if you want to add a link, you will just click on this icon, then close the window. And another thing you might want to do is to remove the text, because this is actually the name of the link itself. And as you can see, this is the link that is now tracked in Ubix, so it has a different format. So after all ID, you will need to put a space, hit space, and only after that you can save it. Okay. The next step is to go and save this as a template. And another thing that you might want to do is to share this with other users. So that means that the user who creates this announcement, let's say that Jeremy is now creating this one, and he wants to allow the other users in the system, the salespeople, to have access to this announcement, you will check both flags. And then the next step is to save and go to the next step. You can just cancel this operation. Do you want to save HTML backup? So I'll click on cancel. And this is actually the area where you can send out this announcement. We have actually several ways to do that, but the most common and the one that you will use is the customers list. So now I will click on the customers list, and in this drop-down menu, I will select the list I've just created. So in this case, I will pick, for instance, the prospects list.
Adriana, can you do a test? Can you show them how to send a test to themselves first?
Yes. Well, what I did actually was to include all the people, the attendees for today in Ubix. So what I can do is just to create a list based on their names. So I know that I created that today. I think this would be easier. So I created a list based on today's date. Okay, so we have everyone. I think I didn't miss anyone. And then I do the same, save as list. And let's say that this will be owners list and test, and then click on save. So now I have the chance to send you this announcement and check it in your inbox. So I'll need to go back to the send email. Let's see if this page got refreshed. So I will need to refresh the screen. Yes, so it's probably better to go to the announcement again. Now, as you can see, I've already created this announcement, so you might want to save it and only send this out at a later time. So what I'll do right now is to perform this operation again. Go to next, hit cancel, and then I get to the sending options. So now I'll click on the customers list. I will select this owner list. Before you send this out for real, you might want to go and see who are the people, who are the contacts. So you have this little icon here right next to this drop-down menu, and in here it will open a list with all the names that you will send this to. So now that I've made sure this is fine, I want to schedule this announcement in the future, so I'll pick on the release date. Then I have a calendar. So let's say I want to send this out tomorrow. I selected just a random date, and then I'll click on send emails.
Adriana, can you show them too? Can you show on the release date how to change the time of the day that's going out?
Yeah, you mean the email queue?
On the calendar? So no, on the calendar. On the release date on the calendar. When you open the calendar, changing the time.
Oh, okay.
Say they want it to go out at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so you actually select the time in here.
Yep, and then just click on the day. There you go.
Yeah, but it switched to... Okay, so now this is good. This is the time. So let's say that you want to reschedule this announcement and you want to see what is the status. you might want to go to the communications. Under communications, we have others, and then we have the email key. So this is the pending list that you are sending this announcement to. So right now it shows that you will see the release date, the one that I've just sent, the priority, and you might also want to review the content before you, let's say, you make any changes. So if you click on this magnifying glass, you will see the content, and if, for instance, I know it happened from experience, you want to cancel this announcement, you'll just click on stop sending, but it needs to be before the date of the release. Okay.
And right from this screen, right from this screen. So if you want to, what I normally do is I will go in and I'll click on the send email to, and then I'll put in my two emails, one to my Outlook and one to my Gmail account. I'll send that to myself first because I want to look at how the layout looks in both. And so if there's issues with it, I can go back and change the main content before it goes out. That's just good best practice, And it is weird how sometimes it does look different, if you send it to a Gmail account or Hotmail or whatever versus an Outlook. It does look different. So it's just the way it is because of the way things display in different email systems.
And browsers as well.
And browsers, and with your screen and everything else. Are there any questions on for Adriana or myself on using e-announcements?
It looked like when you're in that last screen she was at. Oh.
Go ahead, Marty, and then I think Star, you were on. But go ahead, Marty.
I was just going to say, it looked like in that last screen where she was just confirming where it goes, it looked like on the far right, if you wanted to, you could still edit it at that point prior to the time it's going out.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
You want to show where to do that real quick here, Adriana?
Well, you basically go back to the announcement. So let's say that you have a final update. You will go to the announcement. Now you have it here, so I'll click on the name of this announcement, and here I go again. So
okay.
What I'll do is
and
just
if I make edits here, and it's already in queue, will those edits automatically be updated to the e-announcement? I don't have to go back and stop sending and resend? Okay, that's good to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, and Star, you had a question or two?
I do. When you are doing this, do you need to be logged in under the sales manager?
That's a good question.
I don't think if you're not logged in under the sales manager, you're only going to have access to the people assigned to you as a salesperson.
Okay.
So if you have if for companies that have multiple salespeople, they can only send e-announcements to their database. If you're logged in as a sales manager, you can send it to your entire company. Anybody in your database you'll have access to.
Okay. Can maybe Darius let us know what we need to adjust the height and width of the photos to? Just because I've been noticing on stuff that I've been working on for the Facebook that the photos always come up really large, and I didn't realize there was a way that I could change those.
The height and width of the photos. I think if you just click on the photo right now, I believe, can you just drag it to change the height and the width, Adriana, or do you have to go into the image properties? No, maybe not. Maybe you have to go into image properties.
Now I click on this, right click. Yeah. So I cannot drag this
to make it larger.
So let's pick a different picture, maybe just for reference. I know that there are some huge pictures here. So let's see. Okay, so this is a big picture. What I usually do is to right click, go to image properties, and you need to adjust the dimensions in the width and height. For instance, I know what's the best fit, but probably this 250. Okay, so now I actually resized this picture.
And that's pixels, 250 by 140 pixels wide. So it's one of those things you have to play with it a little bit, get it to where you like it, and then you'll just use the preview screen like that to see if it's too big or too small.
Okay. And then my last question is that there was a lot of information there. And I know that I think Adriana is going to go over it with us kind of individually. Is that right?
Well, we're going to actually do it again on the next premium sales training. This is just the first introduction to it for owners and managers. But when we do sales training again for the next premium clients, we will do this again.
Okay.
And you will also have the guide and the recording of this.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking that I needed some written directions, that maybe the guide and I can watch it and get some put together.
Yeah, the guide will give you the step-by-step sort of what to do, and then you'll, the video obviously will show the commands and things that you need to use. But we'll do it again here probably in 2 weeks after Thanksgiving.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Quinn, was that you? Did you have a question on anything?
No, I was just agreeing with Star. I mean, I think I followed for the most part, but to go back and do this all by myself, I think I'm going to need something to definitely go off of. So.
Yeah, and I would say the first time you're doing this, if you need assistance, just email Adriana, and she will be happy to assist you individually. Again, you'll have access to this video, but if you get stuck on something, she can help you with any technical questions.
Yeah, and I know we've had a couple sales agents that have asked about this recently. So, yeah, to show that in the next sales training I think would be great.
You're dangerous now, Quinn. You sort of know what you're doing.
I know, just a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, just a little bit.
I always pretend I do.
Exactly. Fake it till you make it. Any other questions on the e-announcement or anything that we went over? Great. Well, I'm going to stop the recording, so this will be sent out, and then